for summer. There are some really fantastic options for bridesmaids coming through in some of the more structured, slightly 50s shaped pieces that we've just dropped into store this week. I'll show you a personal favourite. The name of this little guy is Kate. So Kate is actually fashioned from a limited edition Mrs. Press silk print with this beautiful silk organza top. Talking about that vintage sensibility, the bow detail on the bodice was taken from a 1950s dress that my general manager found in New York. So I love the way there's this kind of story behind it, and that this particular dress has vintage origins, even though it's new and beautifully made. A lot of people don't want to wear a vintage dress. They don't like the idea of something being fusty and dusty and musty. I love a vintage dress, but certainly when it comes to being a bridesmaid, for instance, of course you want something new and exquisitely made, and that's what we try to do here. That is again based on a 50s shape with that lovely draping through the bodice and that slightly draped waistband. On the body that sits more flush, and you've got that full beautiful skirt which is very forgiving. The silhouette on this is really lovely. This comes in black and also in a very soft fondant, which is almost grey. It's almost this sort of colour here. And the colour of this particular piece is called Candy. Another really lovely shape, which is perhaps one of my favourites in terms of the way that it sits and the way that it flatters everyone, is this little guy who is Jean. This is Jean in white. We also do it in black with a gold organza top. It's really a flattering shape, so it nips in at the waist, and then you have a slightly tulipy skirt. This lemon dress is a lemon silk dupion version of the black dress that I'm wearing. Her name is Jackie, and I just really like the way those ruffles stick out. I think that would be a cute bridesmaid's option. With all these pieces, given enough notice, we can make things to order in special fabrics if we have the patterns. So if a bride came along and said, I love this dress but I wish it was mauve or I wish it was gold, then we can do that. This is such a beautiful blouse, and I think that perhaps could be worn in terms of bridesmaids with a little bit of creativity, perhaps with a little swingy, flippy black skirt, or I don't know, but this blouse is called Mia, and it's beautifully fluted in silk organza, and the layers are like a little confection or a little ice cream. Perhaps you bridesmaids could wear them with the shorts. Can I show you the shorts? You'd have to be a radical bride to get this, but why not? They must be out there. These are our stars shorts, which are so cute. So I think that is a natty little outfit, and why not? I don't think there should be rules. No rules. She's made of this beautiful Italian silk and viscose mix, and she has this sort of slightly stiff collar that you can pop up should you wish to be dramatic, and then the little bow there, closure. This would be such a sweet jacket to put on top of a wedding dress as it got cooler. This is a 1940s sequined bolero, an original piece. Obviously it's a one-off, so we don't have more than this guy, but it is in line with all the things that we try to source to have that special vintage something in the store, and that would be so elegant to be worn perhaps at the party after a wedding when you're kicking up your heels. And the final one is, this is called Trapunto jacket. This is based on a sort of slightly 30s little bolero sleeve, bolero with a slightly 30s sleeve. The fabric is absolutely beautiful, pure silk brocade, and it does have that vintage feeling. And this is part of our collection. This jacket also comes in white, and as I said, we can make things to order, so I think this would be a really lovely thing made in a wedding dress fabric. We just were discussing the idea of something borrowed, something blue for that lovely tradition that I hope brides are still fascinated by. I was. On my wedding I had a tiny little blue garter with a tiny little blue bluebird enamel brooch that my bridesmaids bought me. But I almost certainly had bow knickers too. They're pure silk with these dinky little bows on the side, and something marvellous for the honeymoon. I'm a great fan of a hat, and I don't think that you need to have any particular occasion to wear one. But the delight of these pieces is that they're not specifically hats, they're rather kind of elaborate headbands that you can wear to a party. I would certainly wear one to work. You could wear them to the races, of course, and they definitely make great accessories for bridesmaids or for brides in terms of some of the white pieces. This is the work of a really amazing artist friend of mine, Inge Holst. And what does she do? She loves buttons and bows and ribbons and furbelows, and she trained as a costumier and also studied fashion. And then she acquired somewhere down the track these vintage French flower cutting irons, which date from the 1850s. And what they are, I guess, sort of stamps that stamp out the silk fabric and then create these great flower shapes. So these two headpieces are made in a slightly different way. What Inge does here is to cut individual little silk blooms, to feather them all up by hand, and then to dip each one into a weak solution of tea to give them that vintage feel. Can you imagine? It takes her 24 hours to put these things together. I'm holding up one of Inge's neck pieces, which is made from white Duchess satin and then iced with a 1950s bit of bling. Inge makes every piece by hand, so it's not a production line in a factory. It's Inge sitting at home with her sewing machine and her hand sewing skills and making these treasures. So the very nature of these pieces is that they're limited editions. She makes a limited number for our store, but she also makes to order. So brides are able to come to Inge with fabric from their dresses or from their bridesmaids' dresses and give that fabric to Inge to create a piece of magic with. I could pop one on for you, if you like. This is my favourite. This is a favourite one of mine, sort of a double bloom guy. I like wearing it a bit pushed forwards, and I just wear it like this.